Which specific private health insurance policy is highly recommended for individuals considering emigrating to the beautiful island of Cyprus in the year 2025? You'll get my personal recommendation in this video. Hello and welcome. This is Florian Wilk from CMC in Lanakau, Cyprus once again, and we have specialized in helping emigrants and entrepreneurs to get established in Cyprus, but also in other locations. That means we accompany the immigration process and help with all legal and tax matters. This includes, of course, company formation, ongoing accounting, payroll, and generally setting up your project. And if you would like a free and non-binding initial consultation with me and my team, feel free to sign up. Below this video, you'll find the link for a free, non-binding, and above all, open-ended initial consultation. In today's video, I want to revisit the topic of health insurance, especially international health insurance. There are quite a few options for how to handle this, as well as several providers on the market. Of course, you're spoiled for choice, so I want to give you a rough overview. I'll go over the options you actually have, the ones you can choose from, so to speak. Not exhaustively, but at least the main options. So first of all, I have to say that Cyprus has a very, very good public healthcare system. That means in many cases, you might not even need private health insurance. You can do it with the thought in mind that you might move on in a few years. The non-dom status, but the considerable tax advantages are limited to 17 years. Of course, that's a very, very long time, but even that comes to an end one day. And then you might even want to move on. Or maybe after 5 or 10 years, you say, Cyprus was great, but now it's time for a new phase in life, for a new chapter, and then you move on. Of course, you can't take the statutory Cypriot health insurance with you, even if you would like to. That's clear. And in that case, it definitely makes sense to use an international private health insurance. For example, that's what I did. I took out an international private health insurance policy. A few years ago, I chose a very high deductible, so I pay up to a certain limit myself, everything out of my own pocket. But beyond that, everything is covered by the insurance, both in Cyprus, of course, but also worldwide. So even if I'm on vacation, traveling or something like that, I'm insured. And if I, one day, which I don't believe will happen today, but if I should ever live somewhere else, of course I can take my international private health insurance with me. It may be that my rate increases or even decreases, depending on the region you move to. I think that's actually interesting information. It adjusts to the region, to the cost levels in that region. Every insurance company has internal lists and region codes, so to speak, that they work with. And of course, from a long-term perspective, I have a really great level of coverage, especially if something serious should ever happen. Because the everyday things, let's be honest, if you break your arm or go to the doctor with the flu or have routine checkups, including lab tests, dental checkups, or the usual routine visits to your general practitioner, those are all covered. All of that is wonderfully covered, at least for the most part, by the statutory Cypriot health insurance. Of course, certain dental services are not included, or to be precise, actually most dental services aren't covered, or certain specialized treatments, and some special medications are naturally not included in the statutory insurance. That's clear, there are always limitations. By the way, if you need information about that, maybe if you unfortunately suffer from a chronic illness or need certain medications or something like that, then we can very gladly check for you whether that's covered by the statutory insurance in Cyprus simply as a non-binding service. And usually that's often the case, but of course it should always be checked individually, that's clear. And anything that isn't covered, or if, as I said, you should have something serious, then of course the international private health insurance will step in. There are various providers, for example, Passportcard, April, and some other major players on the market. For example, I am insured with a company in Luxembourg, and I am very, very satisfied with them. And so from my own experience, I can highly recommend this company to everyone. If you want to know which company it is, I can gladly put you in touch with my contact person. You'll have a German-speaking contact there. I'm happy to give you the WhatsApp number, and then you can simply call or message them via WhatsApp. And then present your personal case. So to speak, just provide your basic details like your date of birth and so on. And then they can determine the premium for you and your family directly, of course, also with the different options. There are 3 packages there, each with different levels of coverage, of course. And the deductible is, of course, another factor that you can adjust yourself. As I said, I decided for myself that I want a high deductible because hopefully I will need this international private health insurance as rarely as possible. I needed it once outside of Cyprus, and I have to say it worked wonderfully. You only really know if you have good insurance when you actually need it. And apart from that, communication is of course important, as is accessibility. And I have to say, I'm very satisfied both with the premium amount and the included benefits. Now, of course, I'm not an insurance expert. That's really not my area of expertise. But of course, I can share my perspective as a customer, and I'm always happy when I can pass on positive experiences. And maybe I can help you with choosing your insurance. So my recommendation is really to contact these 3 or 4 major companies and get comparison quotes. And as I said, my actual recommendation is this company in Luxembourg. Feel free to send me a WhatsApp message. You'll also find my WhatsApp number below in the video description. And then I'll immediately send you the contact details of my contact person there. As I said, he also speaks German, which makes things very convenient. That's not the case with all international health insurance providers, just so you know. And then you can go ahead and request a quote if you like. If you have any specific questions, maybe about the topic of health insurance in Cyprus, including the public system, feel free to write them in the comments. I answer every comment. As I said, we're also very happy to check for you if you want to move to Cyprus, whether the specific service you need or even a particular medication you require is covered by the Cypriot public health insurance. And then I think you'll already be one important step further in your decision-making process about emigrating to Cyprus. And if you have tax-related questions or if you need support with your legal setup in Cyprus, then please don't hesitate to contact me as well. We're of course very happy to help with that, since that's my daily business. So thank you very much. I'm glad if I was able to help you a little bit. Feel free to give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for constant updates and news on the topic of emigrating, tax optimization in Cyprus, but also worldwide. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best. Good luck and much success with your emigration. See you very soon. Yours, Florian Wilk.